Matthew Ryan Haux, mi amor, my friend, the best I've ever known.
Okay.
Do you consent to me recording?
I do. I do.
All right, there's nothing to cry about, dude. Come on, get it together. Welcome to the Garlic Boys podcast, where we treat friendship like good recipes treat garlic. You can never have too much of it. We're your hosts. I'm Connor O'Connor.
Hello. I'm Burton Guster.
AKA MC Clap Your Hands.
AKA Bruton Gaster.
AKA Mr. Tibbs.
AKA the almost spelling bee champ. All right.
In 6th grade.
Yeah. And I would have gotten it. If Sean had messed me up.
Yeah, but if you won that spelling test, you would have gone to a better school and Sean would have lost his friends. Okay?
Well, I would have won the spelling bee.
Sean would have lost his only friend.
Banana. Could you use it in a sentence?
The yellow fruit is called a banana.
Syntax, please.
Sean, are you just naming foods you can see? I'm hungry, Gus. You're reading the man's shopping list.
Oh, man. Oh, good times. Second episode. I
Great
thought that
episode.
I thought that was much later in the series. No, it's a second episode.
So the reason why it might feel a little later is it's not the second episode they filmed.
Right.
So the first episode was our first episode, the pilot and everything, the one that doesn't have Juliet in it. Right. The first episode that Maggie Lawson actually filmed was the one with the wedding, with the missing wedding ring and everything.
Yeah, that's a good episode.
So that's the one that Maggie actually filmed first, and then they kind of just put them out of order because at that point there wasn't much of a linear plot.
Right.
So it didn't really mess it up that much.
Interesting. Good. Oh, you got that from the podcast. From the podcast.
Yeah. See, listening to podcasts helps you because then you learn information that you can share on your podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. We get to steal information from other podcasts.
I'm not stealing. I'm reappropriating.
Just borrowing.
I'm spreading out the wealth. Matt, how was your week?
It was good. Okay. It wasn't good. Work sucks. I know.
Did you get the roses that left by the stairs?
I did. They were beautiful. I'm glad you let me know you care.
Well, yeah. It's all the small things, you know.
Anyway, the weekend.
Truth cares, truth brings.
The weekend was good. I went to a museum with my girlfriend, who I talk about a lot, basically every episode. Yes. Sorry, listeners, but I'm not sorry.
Yes, it's only the listener that you should be apologizing to.
I don't care about you. Anyway, so we went to a museum, an art museum. It was good. It was a lot of walking.
An Arby's museum?
No, an art museum.
Oh, okay.
And for Connor knows this, but for the listeners who don't know, I exclusively wear Vans, unless I'm at work, obviously. But I exclusively wear Vans, and those are not walking shoes. Like those are not shoes made to walk around an entire art museum.
Those shoes were not made for walking.
That's just what they didn't do, you know.
That's 3 musical references. Let's do this episode.
This is our musical episode. Everybody has one.
Everybody has those days, you know.
Everybody
knows what I'm talking about.
Everybody gets that way, you know.
So tell me about the art.
Oh, it was really good. There was like I'm really big into mythologies and stuff, so like there's a Greek and Roman and Egyptian sections, which were really cool. There was an entire weapon hall with swords and armor, like knight armor and stuff. It was
Sick.
awesome. It was so cool.
Sick.
It was so cool.
Did
I
you get to
loved it.
play with any of it?
Unfortunately not. It was all behind really thick glass.
Despicable.
Yeah, and if you touched anything in that museum, it'll like loudly alarm. It's kind of wild. Like someone touched one of the exhibits, and like I heard it was like whoop, whoop, whoop. It was annoying, but like don't touch the exhibits, you know?
Fair.
It'll disintegrate with human oils. So
Fun fact I recently learned is a lot of book experts nowadays are actually saying, you know how it used to be like if you're going to hold like an expensive document or whatever, you have to wear like white linen gloves.
right, like the Declaration of Independence, right?
Right. So they're actually now saying that it can be more harmful to the paper to actually wear the gloves because of the fibrous nature of the gloves.
Ah, interesting. You just have to wash your hands really well.
Yeah, you just have to wash your hands beforehand and make sure they're dry, and then when you touch them, you're all good.
Are people the same way? Like, should doctors stop wearing gloves? Just wash your hands pretty good, and voila.
I mean, what's the risk with surgery? Like,
right.
just get in there, dig around a little bit, pull out whatever you think is causing the problem, and sew them back up.
Infection is a leftist lie. All right, infection doesn't exist. It's a hoax.
Infection is just a state of mind. If you believe that your body is filling with a virus and pus and just grossness,
that's what's gonna happen.
Quotations that the liberals want you to think that can happen.
Listen,
then it's gonna happen.
We just like the left just lets themselves get sick. That's how sickness doesn't exist.
Right.
It doesn't exist. They just allow themselves to get sick to continue this hoax that people can get sick. It's just it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen.
If you're mentally stronger than everyone else, you'll be physically stronger as well.
Exactly.
So what you need to do is buy our new book called I Have a Big Boy Brain.
Everyone has a podcast except Q. As in QAnon.
Yeah, know? I got it.
Okay, all right. Just wanted to make sure.
No, that was a very clever reference, Matt.
It was. Thank you.
Speaking of clever. I love doing these transitions.
They're getting more natural. They're flowing better. I will say.
Well, it's because I keep just taking the last thing you say and go, man, Matt, that's clever. And then you're like, yeah, I am clever.
I am a clever
boy. And then
boy.
I spin it and you go, nah. All right. Speaking of clever, Matt, that's time. That makes it in speaking of clever, Matt, that means it's time for this week's Clever Boy quiz.
What name do you got for me today?
The quiz name for this week is Liar or Truther.
All right.
I'm going to remind you that you are one loss away from your punishment, as you know, because you text me crying in the middle of the night saying you can't.
No, wait. I think I'm actually 2 losses away.
No, you're only 1.
Are you calling me a liar?
No, I'm calling me a truther. So, ooh, I ruined your bit. So, liar or truther. What this game is I'm going to give you a fact about myself.
Oh, okay, all right.
And you're going to have to tell me if it is truly a fact and I am a truther, or if I'm lying and I am a liar.
Okay. I mean,
Matt,
cool.
This might be the most important quiz because not only is it helping you not get punished, it's also testing to see how well you know me.
See, I'm convinced that my brain has started heavy mass dumping everything. Just literally, I feel like I'm in a click situation, and I mean this quite literally. I feel like I don't retain anything, and I feel like as though I'm just like on autopilot, like just doing the fast forward thing, like in Click, all the time, 24/7. I don't know if that's actually a medical problem or if I'm just not really focusing, you know?
Anyways, no, you should definitely get that looked at.
Okay.
That doesn't sound healthy. I mean, Click, I think, is like a middle of the road movie. So if you're feeling like middle of the road, that's not great.
It's a decent movie.
It's not his best, but it's up there, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I guess middle.
The
of
ending gets strangely existential out of nowhere, but but hey, they got that Bed Bath and Beyond money, didn't they? All right, Matt. Fact number 1, or I should say, prompt number 1.
Why?
I've lived in Pennsylvania my whole life.
Beans. I feel like we've talked about this. We definitely. I'm almost positive we've probably mentioned or talked about this at some point. All of these things. Possibly. Unless you say like I have a mole on the back of my left knee or something. I'm gonna say true. True. Final answer.
Final answer?
Yep.
Matt, that was incorrect.
Yeah, that was incorrect.
For the first 6 months of my life, I lived in Florida.
Nice. Okay.
I then quickly moved back here, and I don't want to talk about why. Next question. I played 5 sports while under the age of 18.
Can you name the sports?
That is not part of the prompt.
See, I'm gonna say like true, and then you're gonna say something along the lines of no, I played 5.5 sports. Nice try. You played 5 sports. All right. Let's think about this. Well, under the age of 18, you said?
Yes.
All right, let's think about this. Does band count as a sport?
No.
Like marching band, none of that?
No. Though, as a free fact, I did letter in marching band.
Nice. So did I, but I don't know why. Doesn't matter. I'm gonna say false. False.
Final answer?
Sure.
Matt, that is incorrect.
Dang it. 2 for 0 for 2.
I have played soccer, basketball, baseball, swim team, and bowling.
I did know you did mention before you did the swim team and bowling. I just didn't know the other ones.
Those are all the club or like sanctioned sports I've played. I've done like flag football and things like that, but
right.
I was on like my community team for soccer. My church had a basketball league for kids. I was on the community baseball team. I was on the local pools swim team at 2 different pools, and I was on my middle school swim team, and I was on my high school's bowling team.
Nice. What a nerd. Bowling.
I need to excuse myself for 1 second.
It's disappointing. Whatever he's doing is just straight disappointing. Disrespect, actually. I don't know what he's doing. Oh, good. He's disappeared. Hi, Appa. Sorry. That's for the viewers on YouTube. But anyway, how are you guys doing? I'd like to know. I actually would. My listeners, they're all precious to me, you know? And I cherish these moments, these quiet, silent moments without Connor. Just to connect to my listeners, you know? I'm connecting to you guys. You love me. And I love you. We're like Barney, and no, we're not like Barney. I'm not Barney. I don't do well with kids. No, I do. I'm okay with kids. I'm okay with kids. Plan to have some someday, so I better be somewhat okay with kids. So anyway, do you like jazz? I'm a big jazz person. Connor hates jazz. I don't know why. He just doesn't really like it. And this break is a bit longer than the last one. Oh, he's back. Almost. Maybe. This break is a bit longer than the last one, so I'm kind of worried that he's not gonna leave this in the episode. And I'll be very sad. But hi, buddy. Hi. Hi, welcome back.
I just heard you say you're worried that I'm not going to leave that in the episode.
Yes.
I'm so scared to hear what you said.
A whole lot of nothing, really.
That's the episode. It's the actual entire premise of the show. But anyways,
gonna remove my Patreon subscription now.
Don't do that, please.
Please don't. Moms, please don't.
Look, if anyone else could subscribe to the Patreon, please, so it's not just our moms, like just so we can kind of feel like a real podcast, please.
Well, we have Josh too. We can't worry.
Well, yeah, like Josh is cool. Josh is cool. Josh is riding with us.
Yeah.
But like, it's just our moms doing. I mean, like, still, again, I'm rocking with Josh, but like, it's mainly the moms.
They're all of them are champs, but like, please, somebody else. I think it's gone to our parents' heads, our mothers' heads a little bit too much.
You can't even say parents because Kevin doesn't even listen to the show.
He does. He actually has been listening to the show a little bit, and I'm very proud of him.
We guilted him into it.
Yeah, a little bit.
Step 1 is complete. Step 2, Kevin comes on the show.
Yes, maybe not. Probably not.
All right. Prompt number 3.
Yep.
I first rode in an airplane when I was 7.
Sure. True. I don't know.
Final answer?
Yeah. Final answer.
Matt, that is incorrect.
Am I going to get every single one wrong?
I did not ride in an airplane until I was 14.
Wow.
Maybe even 13, I think. It was it's actually for a mission trip to Mexico.
I'd like to double it and give it to the next person, please.
No. Number 4. I got glasses when I was in 3rd grade.
Sure, true. If I answer true for all of them, then some of them have to be right. True.
Final answer.
Final answer.
That is it. That is correct.
All right. You were just used to saying incorrect.
Yes, I was.
So you almost slipped.
Just a force of habit. I got glasses in 3rd grade. I didn't need them at all times yet.
Okay.
But I kept wearing them.
Kind of like readers almost. Like
Yeah. It was just like if anything was far away. So I kept wearing them though, because I thought they made me look cool.
Oh, of course. Everyone had that phase where they wanted glasses because they thought they looked cooler in them.
And it damaged my eyes even more, and now I cannot see anything.
Yep, that's it. That's the one.
Except for my wonky eye can see the future sometimes.
Sometimes. You can't choose when, it just happens.
Every Friday the 13th, I can see when a flash sale is coming at a tattoo shop. Ooh. Prompt number 5. I've never broken a bone.
True. True. Final answer.
Final answer. Matt, that is incorrect.
Dang it.
I completely snapped in half both of my forearm bones 3 days before I started 3rd grade.
Oh my Lord, dude.
My wrist was bent, and then about right here was also bent. If I tried hard enough, I probably could have touched my elbow with my right hand.
Oh, you should have done it.
Pip, move. It was at the YMCA where I was at daycare, or like a summer camp thing. I had jumped off the monkey bars, landed on my butt, and my hand hit the ground, and it just snapped. It was such a memorable experience for one of the counselors. He later became a security guard at my high school, immediately recognized me, and he goes, I could not forget the day I heard you scream and I saw your arm, and it was so terrifying.
Oh man, I've had two very, very close calls with my arms. One of them was when I was skateboarding, because of course I'm a cool guy, I skateboard. I actually gave away my skateboard to my niece. I don't really skateboard anymore. Back in let's say middle school or high school, because I don't remember. I was practicing my ollies because it was the only trick I could do. And I was trying to ollie onto the curb. Landed, board went out from under me. I landed on my arm and hyperextended my elbow. And then the second story, that was a really close call, was we were doing one of those like challenge courses that all summer camps have.
Right.
And there was a spool in between two trees. Just a very, very big spool between two trees that rotated. And we had to get everybody across with some parameters, like there can only be 2 feet on the ground or something. Like I can't remember the actual parameters, but we had to get everybody across. And I was the last person because me being the valiant hero that I am, I helped everybody else across before I went across myself. So if anybody died on the other side, it would have been me.
Right.
So I helped everybody across, and they came over and to grab me, and they grabbed my arms, and they just like go in all of my body weight pulling down. I was going this way around the spool, and like, oh my gosh, my 45, or that's like probably like a 60 some degree angle. My elbows were like that afterwards. They didn't snap, surprisingly, but they were super hyperextended.
Yeah, no, I broke it so bad they had to put me under to reset the bone because it would have been too painful if I was awake. And I had to wear a full arm cast for 6 weeks. And if I ever, even like now this point in my life, if I ever even fracture my bone again, they have to put metal poles into my arm to re-strengthen it, which has actually come up before in my life because I've sprained my wrist 3 times.
Jeez, dude, quit.
I was incredibly accident prone as a kid.
Yeah, I bet.
I sprained my right wrist 3 times, my left wrist twice, my left thumb once, my right thumb twice, my right ankle 3 times, my left ankle 4 times, aggravated the ligament in the front of my ankle to the point where I had to wear a walking boot and do physical therapy, as well as I have a cyst in between the bone and the muscle in my ankle because of it.
Jeez Louise. I've never even broken a bone ever. I'm cool like that, and I think my bones, they're just made of steel, I'm that good.
You want to test that?
No.
Next week's quiz: how breakable are Matt's bones?
Matt's punishment: let's hit every bone with a hammer and see if he can withstand it.
All right, prompt number 6.
Mm-hmm.
I've been to Buffalo, New York 3 times.
Sure, let's go true on that one. That sounds plausible. Buffalo's pretty close.
Yeah.
True. Yeah. Final answer.
Matt, that's incorrect.
That's fine.
I have been 4 times.
Oh wow, yeah, you just change it by 1. Yeah.
Yep. I went 3 times with ROTC in high school. They had an annual trip up to Buffalo. Nice. And then once with my ex-stepmother, brother, and Buzz.
Nice. I bet that was fun.
It was not. Number 7. I've been to the opera twice.
All right. We haven't had a true in a while. Let's go true. Final answer.
Final answer?
Yep.
That is correct.
All right.
Fun fact about that, I fell asleep both times.
Does the Phantom of the Opera count? Because I've been that.
Nope, that is a musical.
Yeah, but it's got opera in it.
Yeah, fun fact, I've never seen that either.
It's good.
Number 8.
Oh, already on 8, huh?
Yep.
It's because I keep answering true for all of them.
Yep. Number 8. I like jazz music.
Okay, now you have to leave that part where you were gone into the episode because I literally talked about how much you hate jazz music. So false.
That's cool. Can you stop? Leave me alone.
That's wild.
Sorry.
That is so wild. Guys,
I'm sorry for yelling. There's a cat that
fine.
keeps coming right into my range.
You're fine.
Yeah, no, dude, I hate jazz music.
I know. And like the reason I know that is because we went to a jazz concert when we were in Nashville for a choir trip.
It wasn't even a jazz concert. It was a quiet room jazz performance. And what that means is that you're not allowed to talk or do anything during the performance. We were literally trapped in there and forced to listen to the worst music available.
I love jazz.
I went insane.
Yeah, you actually like you and Gail had to leave because you just couldn't take it.
She got a migraine because of how loud it was. I got a migraine because I could not stand being in the room anymore, and I almost just full broke down.
Yeah. I honestly, okay, so full disclosure to you and the listeners, I got really mad. You know this. And I feel like garbage. While it's no excuse, that was the point in my life where I was a pretty toxic human being. And it's no excuse, and I deeply, deeply apologize to both of you if she ever listens to this for my actions. No, I was a garbage human being, and I got really, really mad at you for what? Not liking jazz? Like it was so dumb, and I feel horrible now for how mad I was. I shouldn't have got mad at all, but I was like really mad.
I think you were mad because, and you didn't realize this at the time, that you also knew jazz sucked and that you were forced to stay in there and listen to it still.
No, jazz is my favorite. My favorite album actually is that one that H. John Benjamin wrote. It's so good. It's the one where he doesn't know how to play any jazz music, but he hired a bunch of jazz musicians to write an album with him, and he plays the piano for all of the songs.
It's the worst piano playing you've ever imagine a 7-year-old at her first piano lesson trying to play. That 7-year-old is better than H. John Benjamin is
by a mile.
And you're like, oh, at least he can sing, right? No.
He kind of just screams half the time into the microphone. It's just like those jazz. Yeah.
You have like good like jazz guitar, cello, or like whatever. I don't know how jazz music is made. I don't care. And then you just have the jankiest vocals and piano ever. And
it's such a good album though, just because of the memification of it, and it's Bob from Bob's Burgers and Archer from the TV show Archer. It's so good. It's such a good album. Like the jazz music that isn't him is actually really, really decent. Again, you don't like jazz, but it's good jazz music.
I can appreciate an artist being good at their skill level and like what they're doing. Does not mean I appreciate what they're doing.
Yeah, no, my mom will agree with you on that. So formal apology to you and Galen if she ever listens to this episode. Sorry.
Thank you. Number 9. When I was younger, I wanted to be a lawyer.
Why? If this is true, why would you want to but it sounds like you like to debate, you like to think things through. You like to think some things through, and you like for our Patreon subscribers who see the newest Sources Apprentice episode, he likes to be right and debate.
Yes.
So I could picture it actually. So I'm gonna say true. Final answer.
Final answer.
Yeah.
Matt, that is incorrect.
Dang. That's all right.
When I was younger, I wanted to be a doctor.
Why? Again, I say why?
Because I wanted to help people.
I mean, that's fair, but there's better ways to help people.
Yeah, but I wanted to help people who were sick and in need, and
Yeah,
you know,
that's fair.
all that jazz. Sorry, that was such a dumb joke. I apologize for that. I apologize to you, listener. That was such a dumb joke. Sorry. Next prompt, number 10. My favorite actor is Adam Sandler.
That's a falso. Actually, it might be true, but I'm gonna still say false just to stick with my guns. I've lost anyway. False. Final answer.
Final answer?
Yep.
That is correct.
All right.
My favorite actor is Robin Williams.
Oh, okay. All right. I think we've talked about this before, actually.
Yes, I cried when I found out he had died.
Yeah.
Because I was on the way home from Kennywood because my marching band had just performed there that day.
Oh man, that's rough. I cried when he died too.
All right. Well, you did lose, but
yep.
I'm gonna give you the tiebreaker question, anyways.
It was only a matter of time, if we're being honest, but
yeah.
I'll take this tiebreaker question
for sure. Tiebreaker question: true or false? I'm proud of you.
False.
Final answer.
Final answer. Dang it.
Well, Matt, that's another wrong answer.
I can't take any sort of compliment. All right, I can't do it.
What if it was false? And I just bust out like a list of things that you can do better at.
Man, I really hate when you do this.
Joke's on you, Matt. This isn't a podcast, and it's an intervention.
I've waited 16 episodes to give you an intervention, man.
You're finally distracted.
I finally lured you into a false sense of security. I hate you.
All right, Matt. That means that you are now up to 10 losses.
I'm so excited. Do I get a name? A cool name? A bad name?
No. What you do get is next week you will have a punishment you have to endure.
Nice. I'm excited.
It's going to be very fun to help set this up. I will need your mom's phone number because she has already agreed to help me. So just give me your mom's number.
That's actually I don't know her number, if I'm being 100% honest. I have it saved in my phone, but off the top of my head, don't know it.
Yeah, Matt, I wasn't going to ask you just to say it right now.
No,
Come on, dude. I'm not trying to dox your mom, dude.
When we were younger, I had my parents' phone numbers memorized in case I ever needed it. But she got a new phone number, and I didn't even take the time to try.
Thankfully, my mom has never gotten a new phone number, so it's always still the same.
I hope I have this same phone number until I die.
Oh, I cannot learn a new phone number. My brother got a new one, and I don't know his. Now, the only phone number I know is my mom's.
Okay, that's fair, yeah.
Because I did know my grandmother's, but she's no longer using that phone.
Yeah, you can't call her anymore.
All right, Matt, that is the end of this week's Clever Boy quiz. What is your topic for this week?
Oh, shoot, I was supposed to have a topic for this week?
Dude, it's the same format every week.
Yeah, I know. I'm messing with you. What is my topic for this week? No, I actually did have a topic. Can I actually do two topics? Because one I think is going to be somewhat short. And if it is short, then I'll bring in my second topic.
Yeah.
Topic numero uno. 007 just came out. Goldeneye just came out on the Switch. And the Xbox, I think too, which I don't care. You have to have like the Nintendo 64 expansion to like the Nintendo Online subscription or whatever. But I've been playing it and it's so good. It's so phenomenal. It's bringing back so many memories. I played this game all the time with my cousins, with my sisters. It's one of the best games ever created, and it kind of makes me sad that they did remaster it once on the Wii, but it was garbage. I tried it on the Wii and I hated every second of it.
Yeah, the Wii is probably not the best upgrade for that game. It's
Right.
really, you really need a controller for it.
Yeah. Like they've made so many stinking Call of Duty games. You don't. First of all, okay, I know they need money. They don't need money. I know they want money. But like, you don't need that many Call of Duty games. Like, you could make one every 5 years because they have the same graphics.
Right.
They barely minimally change in graphics quality, and they add a few new, fun things here and there. But like, when a great game like 007 has not been remastered, what are you doing? What are you doing with I think the cat's behind you. It's what are you doing? Is the question I'm asking. What are you doing with your time instead of remastering, recreating, remaking, whatever you want to do, a perfect game like 007 Goldeneye? I don't know.
I think part of the problem is that the sort of drive or demand for James Bond has gone down. I know, listen, I know like Daniel Craig did a lot for the character, but like if you think back to the 90s, James Bond was one of the biggest action stars. Like
Right.
his movies were the ones that people went to see. I believe this was like the Pierce Brosnan era, or
Yep.
maybe it was the next guy. I forget exactly who was James Bond at this point, but like it was a time where like you had it was so popular. That's how Austin Powers came about. Like you wouldn't have had someone create such a specific parody of it if it wasn't such a big cultural thing. And so when they're like, okay, let's make a game, what can we do that like is going to appeal to young boys, because that's what video games were back then.
Right.
Who's the best to be a role model for young boys?
Cool secret agent. Yeah.
Our
Absolutely.
boy James.
Yeah.
And so that's when you get into the area of nowadays. Well, games have developed so much further than just let's run and try and find the golden gun and shoot each other with it. And so that's when you have like the Call of Duties, the Halos. They're making the same game over and over again, and no one seems to be noticing. And if you think I'm wrong about that, then you can go play Fortnite or Apex Legends or
Right.
Call of Duty Warzone or any
Overwatch
Rumble,
or
Clash Royale.
Valorant. Yeah.
Right.
Like they're all the exact same game, just with a
they're
little
just
flair.
skinned a little differently. And so that's why you don't have good creative games like that anymore. Like one of my favorite games that I played on my PS2 was Sly Cooper and the Book of Thieves.
Good series.
It's a great series, right?
Yeah.
Where's the love for Sly Cooper now?
I don't see. I think Sly Cooper didn't get as much back then a super big following like Spyro did, or Crash Bandicoot.
Well, Crash Bandicoot did have a big following, and excuse me, even that like phased out.
Yeah.
Until a few years ago, they made Crash Bandicoot 4. Yeah. And that, from what I understand, wasn't a huge hit because it was so intensely 90s. Like the Jinko jeans, like just everything about Crash Bandicoot was so 90s. And so like because of that and because of the cultural shifting, I just don't know if the way that the markets are dictating nowadays, they see it viable to make a game like that.
See, but for on the point of like James Bond, I don't even like it because it's James Bond. When I was a kid, I didn't even know really who James Bond was other than that video game.
Right.
So, and it wasn't until quite literally a couple months ago, and I hate Amazon for this. I was watching the 007 movies for the first time ever. I've never seen a single one. And I was watching them, and now you have to pay to buy like each of them to rent them and stuff like that. It's absolutely stupid. They were all ridiculous. Free. Regardless, we've gone on capitalist rants before here. Regardless, I think the game itself has such a decent following even now, like even today, regarded as one of the best Nintendo 64 games, or even just that like time period games, one of the most loved games. I think it would do decent, at least just like a remaster. Like you don't
Right.
even have to remake it. The storyline in the solo play is decent, decent enough. You'd have to add a little bit, I'm sure. You probably would have to remake it if I'm being 100% honest, but you'd have to add a little bit. But the multiplayer, I feel like the multiplayer would stand up. I know it's, but it'd have to be couch co-op. You could not do online multiplayer with. I mean, you could, but you'd have to have a couch co-op option because I
Right.
just feel like everybody having a PS5 and logging in at the same time or a Xbox or whatever is not really viable in my opinion. I don't have any friends. That's why I have that opinion. So
No, I get what you mean, and if I knew more about video games, I could probably add more to the conversation. But
yeah,
all in all, from my point of view, I just don't know if there's that big of a draw. They could always reskin it into something that could probably have that big of a draw nowadays,
yeah,
like maybe a Mission Impossible sort of game like that. Like
yeah,
if you personally don't believe that James Bond was the draw, and for a lot of people, if it's the same thing, it was just the fun gameplay of it, then like making it something different, but with the same mechanics isn't a bad idea.
yeah, yeah.
Just
Or
just look at
even
what everyone else is doing.
or even better, make a similar game but a completely new character.
Right.
Like I'm all for remastering like some of the best games. You know what I mean? Don't screw it up. Don't screw with it. Just remaster it. Make it the same game, just a little bit better graphics. Well, a lot better graphics. But I'm also all for taking the same game and making something as enjoyable with a completely new original character. You know what I mean? Like I feel like that would be just as good to me.
I think sometimes it's better if you don't keep the game similar with better graphics, because I think the best example of why that's bad is Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl for Pokemon,
Mm,
because they took the Sinnoh games and sort of just remade them for like Switch graphics. They made the battles a little bit harder and then added the underground to where you can catch Pokemon that were only available in the Platinum Pokedex and not in the Diamond and Pearl Dexes,
right.
so that it was actually decent and you can have access to more fire types than Infernape line and the Rapidash line.
Right.
Literally, if you've never played it or you don't remember it, the only two Sinnoh Pokemon or Sinnoh fire types that you could get before Platinum came out in a main game were Infernape and Rapidash within the game.
Yeah. That's wild. That is so wild.
And so like when they upgraded it, yeah, it looks better, but it kind of is just the same game
Right.
with like it's like changing the sheets on your bed. It's still your bed, it's just a little nicer now and it's not as dirty. And
That's
like
fair.
you've cleaned it up a little bit. But with the other remakes like Fire Red and Leaf Green, they fixed a lot of the problems with the game. They made it more playable, like they added new things. They like doubled down on some new features that they were doing. With the Heart Gold and Soul Silver, they did the same thing where like you have the Sinjo, which is like the Johto and Sinnoh mountains where you can like go and like um basically be in Sinnoh and Johto at the same time and like
Mm.
experience Arceus at that point. With the Omega Sapphire and Ultra Ruby or whatever they're called, ORAS. Um, those games they introduced more mega evolutions because it was the same generation as Generation 6. And so like you have all these examples of how you can make the same game and make it better.
Mm-hmm.
And then they do that and it's like just disappointing.
Right. Right.
And so like you can add new things, you can make it technically a new game, because then you're not selling me the same thing over again. And Pokemon is usually just the same thing over again, reskinned. But when you do it again and again, you're still getting new things, and it feels fresher, and not like literally I did this when I was 7, and now I'm 24.
Yeah. No, I get that. That makes sense. I just playing 007 again has brought back a lot of like memories and feelings. And like it's such a good game. And I think it's such a good game. It's probably not that great of a game, but it's such a good game because it's like the game that the game that people would go to each other's houses and just sit around for hours playing. You know what I mean? Like it's a multiplayer game, which a lot of the games at that time, Banjo-Kazooie, Spyro, Crash, all of those multiplayer or single player games didn't have like a multiplayer option. So it's like one of the biggest multiplayer games at the time. And it was just so much fun. The controller itself, I think that might be one of the biggest issues. Is the controller itself doesn't translate super well, just because of the button placement and like the Switch now has 2 joysticks, whereas the Nintendo 64 only had 1 joystick, right smack dab in the middle. So like I've learned to just use one joystick because the other one's essentially useless unless you're trying to peep around a corner and shoot a camera or something like that. But I didn't realize how much actually went into the main, like the solo story mode. A lot goes into it. Like you have to you have to secretly shoot cameras, and sometimes you have to karate chop people in order to be a little more stealthy. Like I did when I was a kid, I just kind of ran through, shot people.
It's almost like you're supposed to be a spy.
I know. It's horrible. It's horrible, really. We don't have that many good spy games, though. You know what I mean? Like we have there's a lot of games that utilize good stealth. Like the Batman, like Arkham series have really good stealth.
Sly Cooper, The Book of Thieves.
Sly Cooper, but we don't have a lot of secret agent type games, spy movies. Why are you laughing?
I just laughing at myself being stupid.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, that's all. I'm off my soapbox. I just love that game so much.
All right. What was your second topic?
I'll save it for next week.
Okay.
Keep the listeners. Well, next week where the punishment. If I survive the punishment next week, then I'll try and remember it for next week.
We'll see how broken your arms are. I'm kidding. I'm not gonna hurt him. His mom's gonna do it. So
I was gonna say not permanently anyway.
All right. So my topic for this week, Matt, is as you can see behind me, I have Appa.
Yeah.
This is from the episode of Avatar: Last Airbender where Aang is not sleeping, so he starts hallucinating. And one of his hallucinations are just Appa standing upright on his hind legs.
Yeah.
And so what I wanted to ask in conjunction with that is, if you were in the Avatar universe,
okay,
would you like to be a bender or a non-bender? And if you were a bender, what kind of bending would you like to do? Don't look at me like I'm crazy, because there are some really cool characters that are not benders.
Oh, abso-freaking-lutely. For sure. But who, given the choice, would ever in their right minds choose to be a non-bender when they could have bending?
All of Amon's followers?
No. Okay. Listen.
Oh, someone forgot about the Equalists.
Listen, they were quite literally just brainwashed. Like that was the whole point of that series, was he was brainwashing them, quite like a political leader of today does.
No, he was just making you fear people that are different from you, and saying that those that aren't like you are the ones that are causing most of the problem and the crime, and the ones that can cause you the most harm. How is that like anything that's happening today?
All right. I would be a bender.
Okay, bender.
I'd for sure be a bender.
Right. Okay.
And there are so many benefits to each of the bending, especially like sub bending. I always, when I was younger, I always pictured myself as a firebender, just because I like fire. I actually really like fire. I like fire a little too much. I really like fire, and I had a lot of rage when I when I was younger. So
Zuko much?
blasting fire out of my fist and feet sounded like a pretty cool thing. But as I've grown up, I kind of like waterbending better. I'm not a fan of most of the waterbending characters, if I'm being 100% honest.
Mhm.
I feel like earthbending, you have to have some sort of like aggressiveness to you, and I'm not like, I can't be aggressive when it comes to certain things.
I'd say you're more feisty than aggressive, and so
Right,
like
right. And I feel like airbenders, you have to be almost too calm, too collected, and that ain't me. So that's why I feel like I fit pretty well in the waterbenders, where I have calm moments, but I also have moments of total overpoweredness and just freaking awesome. Yeah,
nice.
that's yeah, fine, waterbender.
For me, I would definitely be an earthbender.
Yeah.
Um, I don't think there's much like discussion about it.
What
I'm
Enneagram are you?
Enneagram, I'm an 8.
Which is the bull, isn't it? Something like that.
The commander, I think. I don't know. I'm in charge
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah. No. Okay. All right.
So if homeschool is listening, sorry, Amanda, if she's listening, she's also an 8. And the big thing about 8s is they're usually the leaders within their respective groups.
Right.
And she was a part of our friend group. Um, so she always challenged me to be the superior 8, because it's not very often that two 8s can actually be friends.
Yeah.
Or like within like each other's social groups. And so like we would be like, oh, I've done this, I'm the superior 8. And I eventually realized, oh, we're just doing like things that aren't super healthy, like jokes on you, I don't have feelings. But I don't see what that has to do with earthbending at all. I'm not stubborn.
Uh-huh.
No, I'm stubborn. I'm physically unmoving. Like there's not many people that can move me. Though I do have weak knees. Um, I have earthbender hands. Like
Oh yeah.
I got
The
some thick and wide.
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
And I think it's also just the most practical.
Yeah. That's fair.
Like, yeah, air's always available, but I'm not graceful enough for air. Like, and like you said, I'm not calm enough.
Yeah.
Water, again, I don't think I'm graceful enough. Also, I don't know if I want to do water bending because it feels like a lot of work. Like,
Yeah.
especially because like if you had water bending, people would like, oh, we should get the trash out of the water, and then that's all I'm doing during the day.
Right.
Fire bending, I have like the anger probably needed, but like as Zuko learned, anger isn't the best way to fuel your fire. It's actually better if you
Right.
do it with other emotions. But like I also just don't see myself as someone, one, that could be trusted with that much access to fire.
Yeah.
Or two, that would want that much access to fire. Like
Oh yeah.
as life bringing as the element is, it's also just the one that's like, okay, I'm hot now. I want to just go lay on the floor. And if that doesn't scream earthbender, I don't know what does.
Yeah. No, I would have pictured you as an earthbender through and through for sure. Yeah, that's fair.
It helps that green is my favorite color.
And blue is mine. So
There you go.
yeah. I still I agree with you on the practicality of earth bending. I think it's definitely probably the one that would be most used. Like if I was the Avatar, earth bending, I would use it all the time.
Right.
I'd use fire to like heat up my tea or something like that, I guess. But
His tea was warm. His tea was warm.
but yeah, no, I don't. It's an interesting thought, like because there's a lot that goes into the balance of the elements. A lot
Right.
that goes into like I'm sure there were outliers in every bending, section. But
Well,
yeah,
in that sense, like the bending of the and like the elements are basically like that world's Enneagram or
right,
16 personality test or whatever that's called. And like it's like, oh, if you're this, you have to be this. And like that makes sense in the narrative of earthbenders are stubborn, they dig their heels in. And Toph was a character that was not like one to change her mind easily and like was like headstrong, steadfast, and like things like that. Like it's great for like defining character points. But when you're coming into the real world and having so many different like personalities and everything can vary, even when you look at the Enneagram, everyone has one main number, but then you have your wing, which is the one of the two numbers right next to it. That if I'm an 8 wing 7 is way different than if I'm an 8 wing 9. And
yeah,
then you have the triad numbers with it of like 8, 2, and 6 are all the same like heart or they're gut thinkers, I think it is. And so like you have those different triads that when everything in your life is mixed together into this one perfect combination, that can sometimes be perfectly who you are.
right. But even in the show though, which is what I love about the show so much, is there's a ton of character development. Like you were saying with Zuko, like he realized that rage, which is what most firebenders use to fuel their fire, was not the emotion that gives you the best outcome, essentially.
Right.
So in that sense, like he broke away and was able to create something of his own. And like even Toph, as stubborn as she was, had a lot of character development. She had to trust people, which doesn't come easily. She had to it was just like, yeah, there's a lot of character development. And waterbending, which seems like one of the most besides maybe air, life bringing um bending styles. I mean, you saw things like blood bending and ice, where she was using it to like almost kill a guy. Like you could see how different just everybody can be, because like it it depicted what real life would be. Like, yeah, everybody would kind of like every 8 would maybe kind of fall into earthbending, but like there's swamp benders, or no, they're water benders. What there's like different sects of it. There's the lava benders, there's the regular earth benders, there's metal
Right.
bending. That's all like different personalities to do those kind of things. You know what I mean?
And even within those subclasses, like like the thing about metal benders is they're able to be precise and feel
Yeah.
the small bits of earth that are still inside the metal and manipulate those, and that's how like you metal bend. But with lava benders, you have to be able to like truly change earth in a way that it's not naturally in. like
Right.
like magma is a natural thing and lava is something that is truly around, but it's not what it wants to be. It wants to be cool and it wants to be earth. And
Yeah.
so being able to like change it and not have finesse but have power is different.
Mhm.
And so then when you do have like bloodbenders and like all the subclasses, yes, do add like those new elements to them and everything. But it still, that's just basically like saying, oh, I'm a lava bender, so I'm also like, that's the 8 wing 7 to me
Yeah.
of what bending is probably like in that world.
Yeah.
And like I don't think, I'm not trying to shame anyone who like leans into that, because I do believe like I do possess those ability, like those patterns in life. And like, yes, my star sign is a Leo, and I'm a little bit more self-centered than other people, and like all of that is true. But like, what came first?
Right.
The idea that I like being the center of attention, or the fact that I was told that as a Leo I like being the center of attention.
Right.
And so like,
chicken or the egg
so
dilemma.
were earthbenders always stubborn people, or was it just because they literally built walls that people were like, well, it's hard to get through to an earthbender. It's hard to make that connection because they're always just stuck in the ground.
Look at you. Maybe you should have been a psych major.
No.
I'm mentally unhealthy myself.
Who are you, my mother, telling me I should have gone to a psych degree or should go back to school for get my counseling degree?
Do it.
Thank you so much, everyone, for listening to this episode. As always, you can follow us on Twitter at the Garlic Boys, on Instagram and TikTok on the same username. As Matt mentioned earlier, the episode of the Sorcerer's Discussion, where we discuss the Sorcerer's Apprentice, is available now on our Patreon for $10 a month or more. We are hoping to start doing monthly discussions that can follow a similar format to that. So if you'd like access to some exclusive Garlic Boys content, make sure to subscribe so that you can get that monthly. As well, if you'd like to see video versions of the episodes, you can follow us on YouTube and subscribe to our channel there to see not only the video versions, but no, that's all that's on there. I don't know what I said, not only. Matt, any final thoughts?
Yes. Iridocyclitis.
All right. Thank you for listening. And remember to stay garlicky.